Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me this bright and early Saturday morning at NYU. It's great to be back. I actually graduated from NYU many moons ago. And when I graduated, it's funny, I was an intern at Rolling Stone magazine. I really had a youthful ambition to be a music journalist. And when they had me in the building, they put me in charge of something called AOL. Have you heard of it? It was just starting. They put me in charge of writing photo captions for events that happened the night before, the couple days before. And it was really great. I was super excited, to be a young person in charge of something really new and innovative. But the reality is we had to unplug the phone, dial up, and most of the time I wasn't sure everyone was out there. So it was great, and I loved it. But from a perspective of Rolling Stone, I think it was no risk because no one was reading anything on AOL, right? So they put the intern in charge of it. So if you fast forward 20-something years, you might have guessed I'm not a music journalist. I am nowhere in that space. AOL doesn't exist anymore. The Cubs won the World Series. Virtual reality is here. A woman's going to be elected next week for president. And I'm talking to all of you about bots. This is pretty darn amazing. So when Sergio invited me to give you some agency perspective, I'm super excited. But to give you the agency perspective, I think you have to really understand the perspective of brands and the clients that we work with. And the realities of where they are in their business. But first let me give you some perspective on Digitas, this amazing agency that I work with. We're a global marketing and technology agency. We're data obsessed, we're digital natives, and we believe that successful brands use context to create meaningful connections. And I think that's an interesting space to be. So it's different from kind of big traditional agencies, but has all the purpose around telling great stories, building experiences that have everyday use, and we're creating long-term engagement with our clients' customers. So you might be familiar with our work. Small Business Saturday was born out of our office 7 years ago. We designed and built the Taco Bell mobile app, which tacos, who doesn't love them? We created Delta Assist, the Twitter handle that really revolutionized customer service. And we launched e-commerce for Goodyear tires. You can buy tires online now. And it's an exciting place to be. We're really proud to have established a lot of industry firsts that are really backed by technology. And so me personally, I lead the digital products and services team at Digitas, and we work closely with clients who are looking for that next generation of technology that's going to transform their business. And they may not be the first movers to new technology, but they're really thinking about how technology is going to transform their business in the future so that they are moving to be a digital-first business. The first question we always ask the clients is, where's your business going to be in 3 years? And more often than not, we kind of sit and we stare at each other for a little while, because it's a tough question to answer in the face of how rapidly changing technology is these days. And the reality is businesses, brands can be really anything in this global economy. And so it takes a lot of I think prioritization and some soul searching on their side to think about and really define a plan about who they're going to be. And the choice can be incredibly paralyzing, because if you put yourself in the client's shoes, like any business, they can be really distracted by headlines about what they should do and what is right for their business right now, much less 3 years from now. So imagine if you read something like this every day. 2016 is the year of bots. Alexa is taking over the world. Programmatic is the next big thing. E-commerce is going to outpace sales this year from brick and mortar. Virtual reality is going to transform your business. AI is going to reduce your workforce. And Vine is it. Wait, Vine is dead. What do brands do? You get what I'm saying. So for clients, it's really hard to know what they're doing, that they're doing the right thing without feeling like they're missing out on the next big thing. And our senior client, who I really adore, he always says, I can do a lot of things, but tell me what are the right things. And it's true in the face of more channels, devices, data. Without a lot of changing budgets, there's more pressure than ever to focus on what's working versus what's unknown. And so now more than ever, it's important to separate marketing tactics with business strategy. And this is why we always ask our clients where you're going to be in 3 years. Because at Digitas, we believe it's possible to solve for both in parallel. And so when we think about it, and you look out in the space and you have brands like Ford, who's transforming from automaking to being a mobility company, Visa's evolving to be a global payments network, and even my client, Pitney Bowes, are transforming from being a postage meter manufacturer, because he still uses postage meters, to being a global commerce and technology company. The conversations can be much more pointed around how we develop them into being digital-first businesses and the role that technology has to play in that transformation. This informs priorities and investments in the world of not a lot of change in budget. And so we have to think about with our clients not just their products and their marketing, but the impact on people and their staff and the skills that they need, as well as the process of how they're working with agencies, with partners, really anything, just because of the pace that they need to transform into. There's also an important aspect of kind of moving away from traditional business marketing silos to working kind of across the customer journey in many ways. So once our clients have made their 3-year business declaration, our first priority is to help them figure out what's right for right now while getting ready for 3 years from now. And for right now, we still need to define and deliver what's going to help their short-term goals, like getting customers, keeping customers, getting customers to spend more, and getting them to call less. And this is where the core marketing mix needs to show demonstrable business impact. I mean, Sergio talked about ROI, but this is really the core that's going to drive their business forward. And so at Digitas, we work to understand their customers' needs, their footprint, while focusing on building products that demonstrate the story of the brand, not just tell it. So my group is really looking at owned media, although we all know there's a role for advertising and great storytelling to drive people into our clients' own space. But at the same time, we're also investing a small part to test and learn into new technologies. So this could be websites for some, content, apps, bots, AI, virtual reality. It really depends on the business. And if you can imagine, at Delta Assist, which is now just at Delta, it started out as a really small project. It was a handful of people who had a really great ambition to test out a new platform. And it really took off. It reduced calls, it helped build their brand to be a stronger service brand. And we moved at Delta Assist as part of the core marketing mix really quickly. But it was rare, actually, to move quite so quickly, but it was the pace and the right thing to do for them. And so when we look at why we're here today, this esteemed group, I think that messaging and bots have a unique position to drive short-term goals and also inform long-term plans. Because what's interesting is that bots messaging really tap into existing behavior rather than transforming new ones. It's not like bots are saying it's a whole new Twitter thing, 140 characters. We're talking all the time. It's a familiar and not so scary interface. Right now, we don't think bots are going to replace websites or apps or humans, if only because I don't know that we've all collectively delivered on a great killer experience yet. But from what we can see, we think bots can be really additive to our clients' businesses, though in a short period of time, given the rapid change here, that could change really quickly. And for clients now, they're really in the process of understanding bots. When we talk to clients about bots, they're like, say that again? Because they have so many other priorities that coming to them with new technology requires a bit of time, requires a lot of conversation, and in many ways just proving out that it can be effective for them. So what we do know is that there's some functional use cases that are emerging as successful, and brands are starting to take notice. My clients are definitely starting to take notice. And the categories are obvious. They are the category of utility and commerce, like ordering goods, tacos, Domino's, checking bank balances, or the announcement Twitter just made of what I would call kind of free customer service. Those are demonstrable things that our clients are looking to solve for, and they can see the value of it. news, like the CNN bot on Kick, which I really love, to teach teenagers about the electoral process, and entertainment, Hello Barbie bot, super cool stuff. But when we think about helping clients achieve their short-term goals while proving out technology, we have to think about it not being a huge investment to start, and it can't impact their staff and their process. Is that the trick where bots are in their trajectory is that we want clients to be, we want bots to be a really great customer experience for clients and customers. And to do that, we need bots to be built really well, and for the experiences to be phenomenal, really speak for themselves. If you think about the trajectory of websites, of apps, they really speak for themselves in terms of telling the brand story in a really functional way, and that's really what I'm looking for bots right now, so that the clients are super excited and see the value of them. So my advice to all of you is to solve a measurable business problem to begin with, so that you actually are building your case for more bots. Sergio's point around building a great customer experience or build great killer experience, I think that's the place to be and that's the place to focus, so that you can build that ROI. It seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many things come across our desks at the agency that, while fun and cool, we can't make the case to our clients. And in a mix of unchanging budgets, there's so many other priorities, it's difficult to convince them to take that next step. Second is to build bots that clients can test. So, clients aren't going to greenlight huge investments to begin with. So it's unlikely that they're going to do it with technology that they feel a little bit nervous about. So build out a test or a bot that they can test and they can deploy without a lot of investment, and it's not a huge impact on their staff and the way that they're working. And this test, I think, more and large that we've seen has been successful already. So think about how to do that. And then the last is to build into the existing ecosystem, not like a standalone thing, because the clients are not going to want to manage something else. And think about the client's ecosystem in and of itself. I was just talking to a client about building a bot into one of their physical products. And they were super interested because it was something they were already investing in, and you could build a relationship on top of that too. I think Facebook Messenger is great. I would love to see, as I ask of all of you, something that was incredibly useful in B2B, because you think about complex relationships and things that take a long time to sell in. B2B is an interesting space to play, even with small business owners. And last but not least, I'm not going to talk about monetization, because I think it's a very big conversation had and really kind of uncharted territory right now. Is who do you talk to get bots in front of clients? Well, the intern, obviously. I recommend developing some strategic relationships with agencies. At Digitas, we regularly partner with startups, new technology with our clients. We actually have a whole program called Startup Connect, so that's a really fun, interesting place to be. We do hacks and try to solve clients' briefs with a small group, short period of time. More than likely, clients buy those solutions. So get involved with agencies. We're well connected within a client organization. We're influential in the marketing spend. As you guys are thinking about kind of the future trajectory of bots, I would ask you guys to think about the same question we ask clients: is where's your product going to be in 3 years? And so that helps kind of point you in a marketing space and sort of a business strategy space, and you can start developing that over time too. So good luck with that. Thanks. Do you have questions?
Can you say a little bit more about what you're looking for in B2B bots?
Yeah, and it was sort of from my perspective, working with B2B clients, there's a difference between kind of a small business side or also larger enterprise. Within that journey, I'll just think about kind of the larger enterprise side, where the sales cycle is long. It can be months, years. Enterprise investments are not considered for years at a time. I think a bot could be interesting in terms of getting the right information out and feeling personal in a somewhat of an impersonal sales cycle. There's always like salespeople as part of that conversation, but in between those moments, what can we do? This is as much a question for me as it is for all of you. What can we do to help communicate the value of our clients' products as it is building a relationship in kind of a seamless way? The biggest challenge in B2B and finding the right product in like a sea of products is finding the right product for you and just being part of the consideration set. So if the main challenge is to be part of the consideration set, what can bots do to help close that gap?
Yeah, so we heard from right here. We heard from Kick, and they said that a lot of times their bots are wrapped within the media spend. For you guys, have you noticed clients assigning budget or opportunistic budget to bots, or is it mostly still part of media?
It's a bit of both. I think that clients' marketing spends tend to be more stable. There's more flexibility in a media spend. I'm just talking to a client right now, actually, with Sergio, about putting bot development as part of media spend. I think if you are building out an ROI case, you have to figure that part of it out in media. But I think that's where the flexibility is in spend, for now. Hello.
How far do you think we are away from a critical mass where every brand, just like today, they said we have to have a Twitter account and social media presence, says we need a presence on a messaging platform? Or do you think we'll ever get there?
I think we'll get there. I would turn the question back on you in terms of how quickly can we build experiences that are really differentiated in the chat world. I'm not going to give any predictions on timing because I'll probably get it wrong, and you guys are recording me. So I would say think about the experience first and really major in that, and the clients will come along.
Related to that.
Hello.
Hello. Wow. Is a lot of times when we do stuff like new technology comes out, the agencies adopt it, and it becomes this sort of 1 year, boost in revenue for agencies, and agencies don't typically sell like our value prop as well as we can sell our value prop. So agencies are always a little bit of a sketchy go-to-market for product companies.
We're sketchy.
Yeah, you guys are super sketchy. So how do you think about that? Do you think this is flash in the pan, or do you think this is web and mobile? Right now, if you were making a guess, recorded.
So many predictions recorded. I don't think it's a flash in the pan for two reasons. One is it builds on existing behavior. And again, to my point, if it was something not new, it would be harder. I think some agencies can be sketchy. I don't think ours is. I think that's where the strategic partnership with the agencies come in, is that we need to be able to talk about your value and keep you part of the conversation and not take over and do bot development, because agencies, I don't think right now anyway, or this foreseeable future, have that skill set. And like apps, I think you guys can get to market much faster because you're really dedicated to it. I still think it's hard for agencies to build apps in a way that is speedy enough for our clients' go-to-market, if I use that as no public. Last call.
Sorry.
Sure.
I'll just use this, yeah. Could you give us a sense of the timeline that you tend to imagine from like the moment that a client walks into your office and says, okay, I'm ready to go ahead with the bot, to through kind of, I assume there's some period where you're discussing the needs of the client and they're kind of coming up with the brief and getting internal agreement before it goes to the developer. Could you sort of sketch out the timeline that you think about for the moment that they say go ahead to the moment that it comes out?
Sergio and I are laughing because we've been working on a thing for a while. I think to start, it's going to be a little bit longer because we have to spend the time educating the clients on bots, what it can do, and it's a whole new set of understanding for them in terms of development. I think it could probably get much faster as the marketplace and bots mature. I think for now, you could probably expect a couple of months to be safe. Tizal.
Actually, just a
Yeah.
generalized question. The demographics for Kick, are they similar to the demographics for most bot platforms that are consumer facing? So the 18 to 30-year-old.
I don't know the answer to that.
What's the question again? General demographics for bots. So the Kick demographics are very
Young.
millennial, Gen
Uh-huh.
X, Gen earlier on. Would you say that's generally the bot demographics?
I can't say. I mean, you've got Slack as well. They've got obviously older demographic or business focused. I can't say much. I mean, Facebook is here. You can ask them that question.
Demographics.
In terms of demographics of people that are demographics. It's a good question. So basically, who are you using bots today?
Yeah.
What are the demographics exactly?
I can talk to a little bit of bots for business.
I think you've captured with the BeautyCon, but that's a very specific use case. So as you put these bots, so you can capture a larger audience there. But if you're developing a bot, just in general, who are you targeting?
So for Kick, it's really dependent on the platform, I guess. Teens for Kick, general consumer should probably be Facebook. If somebody comes with a consumer bot to me, I usually send them out somewhere else. For us, it's paid teams. Like we see 90% of our paid teams actually use an average of 8 bots per team. So our social teams use less bots than our business teams, but like every platform has its own demographics.
Thank you.
But it'd be a good study to see actually who is using, of all the population of the US population, what's the breakdown of those people using bots is what your question.
Yeah. It'll help sell the story. When you think of thanks. It'll help sell the story. So from a very stodgy bank I come from, we've been founded 100 years ago. Going out with a bot strategy is difficult because it's who are your customers, who your consumers are going to use it, what are you going to use it for? And it's almost a brand reputation play, not necessarily a value add play. So I think marketing is the right place to start, and it'll be a tough play to think. So.
But again, it depends on who you're trying to target as well, and that's where you come up with different executions. So if you're trying to target millennials, teens, that'll be very different from the way that you do it on Facebook or Slack.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You go.
I think if you're thinking about a bot to solve an existing business problem, I think that's a place to go and differentiate. For a bank or even some of our credit card clients, that's where they've gone. It's just purely transactional for now. Over time, it would be interesting to see how, if at all, it could turn more into a brand experience. But for now, I think if you think about it as solving customer service calls or something functional, I think that's a way to prove out that a great experience can exist within the bot. Hello.
Please speak. So many questions for you.
Hi,
Hello.
great presentation.
Thank you.
I was chairman of the industry association that represents agencies in the UK called BEAMA for 3 years. And I'm getting contacted by agencies like Ogilvy who are actually building bots right now. So that's what excites me, is that as soon as it hits the agency world, then we know we're actually onto something more quickly, because in the mobile web world, it took them a hell of a long time to actually grab onto that and encourage clients that it was something that they should be involved in. So I'm excited to see people like you involved in these initiatives and deliver bots, because we rely on you to educate the client world of the importance of actually taking the advantage that we see today. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is there another question? back.
Sorry, I'm really sketchy. We're a lot of agencies. This is a tough one. Maybe in terms of average deal size, do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys are seeing in terms of range? You can dance around it a little bit if you want, but I mean, I've been pretty surprised to see the size of the deals, like to the extent that you're talking major brands getting into it for small startups, but with agencies who are not small startups. I'd love to hear your range.
I don't know that I have a set answer for that, because with some brands we're doing tests, so that's fair investment on both sides. I think the engagement over time is going to grow as they see more ROI there. And I think for you guys in this audience to think about how to structure in a way that clients are already familiar with. So if you just think about software, they already understand how that works. Software as a service, there's customization, there's licensing, and then there's like maintenance stuff on top of that. I think that the deals can get big as long as it's going to improve the ROI on it. So I'm sorry to give you a sketchy non-answer, but I think it remains to be seen. If you think about the world of apps many years ago, they started out as pretty small too, but there's significant investment in apps now, if that can be an equivalent.
Specifically, have you seen a 7-figure deal yet?
No.
I think we should probably.
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.